There we go. Hey guys, welcome to Look Around Florida. I'm your host, Sean McFall, aka the Florida Man. I'm glad you all can be here tonight. Please share this episode out. This episode is going to help out a lot of divisions that are talking about Oakwood registration cemetery there in Virginia. I have their vice chairman, Edwin Ray. He's in the background right now. So uh as we get rocking and rolling, give some updates. Hey Linda, hey Derek. Linda Hudson with the Florida OCR, Derek from the Tennessee division. Good friend of mine, good friend of a lot of people's. Kelly Crocker's in the house. Florida Division OCR President Annette Lindsay's in the house. Welcome. To give some updates on projects that are coming up. Uh, the Arcadia Camp, November 29th, is doing their annual Christmas party from 10 to 3 at the American Legion there in Arcadia. Please mark your calendars. Hey, Beth. November 15th, in Jacksonville, Florida, they're doing the Florida Soldiers Monument dedication. So come join us. We're going to have a blast. The last episode that we did, we had Florida Division Commander Calvin Hart and Division Adjutant Rick Roberts on to give an update on the Florida Soldiers Monument dedication on November 15th. There's my dad from another mother. Mark Bess is in the house. Roy Hudson, AOT councilman's in the house. Wow. So, like I said, we have the vice chairman for Oakwood registration. He's in the background right now. We'll be bringing him up shortly. So I just want to give some updates out there on meetings and projects that are coming up. November 7th to the 9th, the Florida Mechanized Cavalry State Meeting there in damn it. I had a brain fart. Yeah. It's one of those nights I had a brain fart. That is coming up November 7th to the 9th. October 11th, we got two things going on November 11th. Bobby Van Zandt with the St. Pete camp is doing a cemetery. Thanks, Roy. Great hammock. Is coming up. Hey, Dylan and Leon. Bob Highball's in the house. Good seeing Bob Highball and Chip Schultz last night at the Arcadia Camp meeting last night. I'm glad they drove down from Ocala to hang out with us. Remember, we have two things October 11th. We have CERT training at Joshua Creek Cemetery with me. Woohoo. And speak of the devil, Bobby Van Zandt with the St. Pete camp. They're doing a cemetery cleanup at Oaklawn Cemetery there in St. Pete. Guys, if you're in the southeast region, let me get my calendar up. September the 20th for the Southeast Florida region. You guys are having an officer's call. Friendwood Cemetery. Thanks, Bobby. You guys are having an officer's call. So if you're in the Southeast Florida region, please get with Roy Hudson. I will be there. So come say hi and just don't throw anything at me. Yeah, Greenwood Cemetery. The Battle Memorial, September 26th and 27th of Marion, Florida. Thank you, Lieutenant Commander Mark Bess. Speaking of, we got Laura Schultz in the house. Sandra Coyle's in the house. I know Mark Best just posted this event. We got this one coming up. The 34th annual Lee Jackson Southern Heritage event hosted by the Finley's Brigade, Camp 1640, and the Marion Heavy Black, Chapter number 5. January 24th. It's not 2025, it is 2026. So, social hour will be at 5 p.m., dinner program at 6 p.m. Jackson Lodge, number 1. 2818 Appalachian Parkway, Tallahassee, Florida. Tickets are on sale right now. $50 in advance. Miss Emily, I'm not even going to pronounce her last name because I know I'm going to butcher it. Actress, musician, first person impersonist, Rose Aller Greenhow will be the guest. Wow, we get quite a bit from the Tennessee division. Hey, Al, good to see you, sir. Righty. Thank you for that recommendation, Derek. Derek said Emily does a wonderful presentation for Mark Best's Finley's Brigade Lee Jackson dinner. So if you have any camp projects, events you are planning, please get a hold of me. Email me, call me, whatever. I prefer email because that way I can copy and paste it to our Facebook page. That's where I'm keeping everything up to date on events and news. I know you some may have seen this, some may have not. Where is it? Where is it? I'm trying to figure out where it went. StreamYard just had an update. Remember Sheikah that Jerry Peacock came on and talked about? Well, the Ocala Brigade and the UDC got together and installed his headstone. Congratulations on that, the Ocala Brigade. Thank you, Annette, for that. Yes, their Christmas party's coming up. I gotta get with Mary and Donna on the dates. Todd from the California division checking in. Welcome. Chips in the house. So, thank you guys up in Ocala for getting Sheikah, putting in Sheikah's headstone. That Donna McPherson helped out and get that for you guys. As you can see, there's Bob Highball, Jerry Peacock, Chip Schultz, Mr. Cook, and the rest. I know them. Their names are escaping my head right now. So, congratulations on them putting in that headstone for Sheikah. All right, guys, hold on to your hats. Please give our the vice chairman for the Oakwood Registration Committee a warm welcome. This is Edwin Ray. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I am the vice chairman of the Oakwood Cemetery Restoration Committee, a standing committee of the Virginia Division, and I'm the adjutant for the J.E.B. Stewart Camp 1343 here in the west end of Henrico County, outside of Richmond. We don't go into Richmond anymore unless because of what happened a couple of years ago. But except to go to Oakwood Cemetery to do a lot of work there.
Cool.
I'm a retired reference librarian from the Library of Virginia, so a lot of the work I do is research to verify the accuracy of the information that we're going to be engraving on to the headstones. We want to make sure it's right as we can get it before we start chiseling, and and our goal is to eventually have Oakwood look like a national military cemetery.
Cool. Ray, how many Confederates are buried in there?
It's over 16,000. There's the number that stays in my head is 16,283. That may not be precisely accurate, but it's something in that neighborhood. And of the 16,000, there are about at least 3,700 who are unknowns. And we've got about 380 Florida soldiers, not counting however many of those might be among the unknowns. We've got, and I guess the last number I'll throw at you is 19 are of the 380 are on our current order for the for what we'll be installing later this year.
The ones you're talking about install later in the year, is that just Florida or in general?
That's in general. We've got an order. Well, we just received an order that contains. It's about 50. I was thinking it was 52 in that order that we just got this past week, and we've got an order for about 60 that's going to go in probably later this week. Maybe by the weekend, I think that order will be going in. So we've just finished up, essentially finished up an order that had 40, I think it was 48. So we're making room in our storage unit for the 50, and then we'll need to get busy putting those in so we can have room for the 60 that'll come in a few months, or a few weeks, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we dedicated 90 headstones. This year we're expecting to go well over 100, possibly as many as 135, 150 maybe. And if that trend continues, then we're going to get to a place where we won't be able to keep up with them hardly anymore, and we'll have to figure out a new way to get them installed. May have to hire some of the work done. We'll still supervise the work, but I'm actually hopeful that we'll get to that point, because we've got some members of the committee who don't think we'll ever see the end of our project, but I'm optimistic. I think if we can get the numbers up to 250, 300 in a batch, then it won't be very many years before we'll have that national military cemetery that we've been dreaming of for these years.
So how many do you install at a time?
Well, it depends on how many crew members we have show up. It takes about currently it takes us about 45 minutes to get one in the ground and finished to our satisfaction. Where we all learned what we're doing from a fellow named Lee Hart. He's a past chairman of the committee, and he's a perfectionist, but that's I mean that in the kindest possible terms. He wants the job done right, or he doesn't want to do it. So it's we do the best we can to get them in the right place, and properly lined up so that when we eventually get to seeing those long rows of headstones, they'll all be lined up as they should be. Um, but we it really depends on how many people we have. We've got our next work days are coming up on the 19th and 20th of this month. We've got some people from Missouri division coming in to install the three newest soldiers from Missouri. For a long time, we didn't think we had any Missourians at Oakwood, but we somebody from there was a letter to the editor in a back issue of the Confederate Veteran magazine that I noticed, and I it gave me just a hint of a clue that maybe there was might be a Missouri soldiers buried at Oakwood. So I contacted the author of the letter, and he got back in touch with me, and he did a little digging, and he discovered the first Missouri soldier that we found. I helped him discover a second one. So those are already in place at Oakwood, and then later on, once I figured out how those Missouri soldiers were getting to the Richmond area,
Yeah.
I started searching more of the compiled service records on Fold 3, and we've discovered three more. So those three
Okay.
headstones are going in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's kind of strange for Missouri because I thought they were out there uh with Contrell and
Yes,
that.
that's right, and they were for the most part, but these soldiers are, at least these first two were had been captured at Vicksburg and sent north to prison camps, and then they were later exchanged. But the place they were exchanged at was at City Point down near in Colonial Heights, which is just a few miles south of Richmond. So, and then of course the Yankees they wouldn't give us back the healthy soldiers so much. They'd give us sick ones, and
Right.
and some of those sick soldiers, once they were released, they had to go straight to the hospital, Chimborazo or Howard's Grove, and they some of them died there, and then were buried at Oakwood. So that's how they got here. It was a long,
Oh, okay.
circuitous route, but there was one unit that Missouri did send to Central Virginia, but they weren't quite close enough to Richmond during the war for any of them to have died or gotten sent to the local hospitals. Excuse me. Um, so they were a little further out west, and so it was this more circuitous route that brought these other soldiers to Oakwood.
Well, Mr. Ray, we got a first question for you. This is from our one of our lieutenant commanders, Mark Best. Can you describe the process for installing the markers? Do you use concrete to stabilize or a gravel base?
We sometimes use gravel. We do not ever really use concrete. We're we know that the chances are we might possibly, for various types of reasons, we might need to either move one or adjust one, or especially with when you've got a name, the John Smiths of the war, with those who are, if you got too many of those that are the same name, you might get them confused, and you figure out later on that you got one that needs to go in a different section than where you first put him. So we make it easier on ourselves so that we can, if we do have to move one, we can do it without too much difficulty. What we do is, of course, first we make sure we're going to put him in the right spot. We do have various lists that help us figure that out, who's where. And but then once we've got the location, then we dig with hand tools. So far, post hole diggers, shovels, and we go down. The headstones, the VA style headstones that we get from a VA supplier. They're 42 inches long, give or take. Sometimes there are slight differences, but generally they're 42 inches, and we put them in about 17 and a half inches in the hole, with about 24 inches above ground. That's a little deeper than places like Hollywood Cemetery, for instance. They put theirs in not so deep, and we put them in fairly deep, but so that we're still able to read the bottom line though of text on the front of the headstone. Which sometimes presents a little bit of a challenge when we've got those 6x6 marble markers that have the three numbers on them that some people may have seen. They're the three numbers represent the soldier to the left, the soldier behind the 6x6, and the soldier to the right. So you got three. Those three numbers represent three different soldiers side by side. But now we'd love to get rid of the 6x6s, but the Department of Historic Resources here in Virginia, they argue that those 6x6s have taken on a history all their own, and they're historical objects, and they don't want us to remove them and do away with them. So we have to work around that, and they do help us locate the spot, but they sometimes get in the way when you've got a long list of information on the front of the headstone. Sometimes the 6x6 will try to block that last line or so. We use strings we use the level to make sure that they're correctly upright and vertical and not leaning left or right or forward or back. This perfectionism we learned from Lee Hart causes it to take a little bit longer than it might otherwise to put one in that's properly aligned, especially in line with whatever other markers may be in the row. That's about it in a nutshell, unless there's some more specific related question to that. But
there's been a couple questions popped up. The cost of the headstone, if I'm reading this right, in the Confederate veteran is $450, correct?
That is correct. That's the best price we have been able to find so far. Although if we find a better price at some point, we'll certainly switch to because we're in our funds are fairly limited, and we don't want to present any burden to anybody wanting to mark a grave, which I guess I should back up just briefly
Yeah.
for a second. Why are we not getting actual VA stones from the VA? We have tried that. We thought we were close a number of times, but the VA, of course, the political correctness infected that organization over the years, and um, we're um, in a nutshell, they argue that the 6x6 markers with the three numbers on them constitute a properly marked grave because those numbers correspond to a list in the office at the cemetery. Well, that much is true, but what they ignore is the fact that list is both incomplete and inaccurate. Plus, lately, some people in the office have been telling people that they don't even have such a list. People would call in and they ask if they could help them find their Confederate ancestor, and they say, well, we don't have a list to answer that question. And so I don't know why they would say that, because they do in fact have the list, but it's so anyway, the VA just I'm not sure exactly what their rationale is for why they won't provide them, but it's a mental block. It's only Oakwood, as far as we know, that they will not provide headstones for Confederate. Now, there are veterans who died after the war who are buried in the civilian section, right across the street from the Confederate section, where those soldiers died during the war. If you've got an ancestor in the city section, they'll be glad to provide you a marker, the VA that is, but they will not provide markers for anybody who died during the war and is buried in the Confederate section. So we got tired of waiting for them. We did sue them. We got a few over the years, but it was a lot of time and money, and we just got tired of waiting. So we've moved forward with this process now, where we just purchase them and put them in. Now there's no charge. We don't charge for the installation. We only charge for the purchase of the headstone itself.
We did have a question that came up, right? Have you had any problems with vandalism or anything of that on that order?
Just a little, nothing terribly serious. During at the end of the 2020, I guess we have a monument, well, several monuments actually, but one in particular, a tall obelisk in the cemetery, the Confederate section. Nobody's damaged that, but we did one night discover that, or the next day discover that the night before, our flagpole had been sawed down. So we that was the first case of vandalism that we know of. That's then not too long, a few months ago, we had there was snow on the ground, so it must have been this past winter, I guess. Somebody brought a vehicle in and drove around I guess he was doing wheelies in the snow or something, just to see what it maybe. I guess we can give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't see the 6x6s, but I'm hard pressed to believe it was unintentional. I think it probably was intentional, but fortunately, they didn't do any damage to any upright headstones. They did do a little damage to some of the knocked over some of the 6x6s, but they ended up actually doing more damage to their vehicle than they did to the cemetery. So it's I guess we were fortunate there, but that's been all that I recall since we've been in charge anyway.
Right. Uh, I have a question. When did this project at Oakwood started?
Uh, it's a very good question. It's I think we've been in charge of the Confederate section for about I think it's about 25 years, maybe a little longer than that. I should know the exact date, but I'm sorry I don't. We um, There was an organization called the Oakwood Trust before us but and they put up a fence, not a real good fence, unfortunately, but it's and they put up a monument to the unknowns there
Okay.
at the cemetery. But other than that, I don't know. I guess there was some disagreement amongst that organization, and some of our people were members of it. It was made up of some SCV members and some UDC members and some other people and this was all before my time, so I don't
Right.
know an awful lot about the goings on of the Oakwood Trust. But anyway, the Virginia division established the Oakwood Cemetery Restoration Committee, and we petitioned the General Assembly to designate us as the new caretakers for even the Oakwood Cemetery. The Confederate section of Oakwood is still owned by the city of Richmond, but we have an agreement with the city that puts our committee in charge with of the Confederate section. So we're responsible for keeping the grass cut and installing headstones and making repairs to things when that's needed and things like that. We've refurbished the speaker stand and some other projects like that over the years while we were waiting for the VA to start providing us markers. But again, we got tired of waiting on that, so we got a little more forceful with the purchase and installation of headstones.
Another question. I know you guys put ads in the Confederate Veterans, different divisions and that.
Yes.
Does that help you guys out at all?
It does. Yes, we've had it's generated a lot of interest, and several divisions are now on board with providing a certain number of money for a certain number of stones each year. Tennessee, Virginia, well, of course, Florida now is on board, and let's see. Missouri we may be finished with, but of course that was only a handful of. We challenged Maryland, and then it's helped us learn a lot of new things about Oakwood that many of which we didn't know before. For instance, the Maryland division we found out that somebody was had said that all the Maryland soldiers had been disinterred and taken back to Maryland. Well, that there was that effort that Maryland engaged in, and they did take away quite a few, but they missed a few. So we've still got some Maryland soldiers buried at Oakwood, and we're marking those. Some of those headstones are coming in the order we just got, I think, and then a few more in this order that we're about to place probably by next weekend.
Cool.
But so those are some examples but so yes, the ads have been very helpful, and they've and of course we're responding to descendants who are interested in, have the personal interest in, marking their ancestor. We've got the camps who are like to focus on units that are represented in the cemetery from their locality, and then the divisions. Of course, they're anybody from their state is who they're trying to get marked, and so we're. But it's getting hard to keep track of all the incoming orders, frankly, and we're doing the best we can again. But Rick Mumar, our chairman, has got a spreadsheet, and so he keeps a pretty good track of which ones we put in and where they are and who paid and all that, and we're but it does remind me to remind you all, the audience, that email communication helps us help you. It's the best way for us to keep track of who we're working with, because we're handling, like I said, 50 or so or more headstones orders at a time now, and it's just hard to keep all those straight without having some written notations to fall back on if the question comes up.
Edwin, you talked about camps and divisions that are stepping up. When the camps get involved with a gray soldier that might be from their area, right? Do they get notification on when the headstone's being prepped and being installed?
Yes, Rick does communicate with whoever paid for the marker. That's who he communicates with. So if it's a descendant or a camp adjutant or a treasurer or division, whoever it is that's paying for it is who he communicates with. But yes, we try to keep everybody up to date. We let them know, when we receive the check, when this order has gone in, when and then once the order has gone in, we will then, in a few weeks, we'll get proofs of here's an example right here, proofs of what it's going to look like.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we'll send a digitized image of that to whoever he's communicating with, so they can register their approval. And so once the purchaser and our committee are in agreement that we're ready to go, then we tell our supplier, yes, these headstones are good to proceed with the engraving. We approve the proof you sent, or here's a little change that needs to be made, or whatever the case may be. But once we get it just right, then we proceed to the final production of the headstone, and then they come in pallets of I think it's 12 per pallet, and
Wow.
so we've got Rick's got 5 pallets on his on his in his parking lot at his office right now.
Wow.
Or no, excuse
Uh,
me, he did. He's going to bring those down when he comes in a couple of weeks to
oh, okay.
yeah. He
Now,
Rick lives up in the Shenandoah Valley too, so it's a trip for him to get back down here, but uh, he does a good
now
job.
you touched on another subject, ordering. Which I know you guys can we can order it through the Virginia Division's website.
Yes,
I know there's a link there that goes to you guys.
correct.
Uh, what are the other ways that they can place the order to get a Confederate veteran a headstone?
Well, Rick's information is also available in those ads in the Confederate Veteran magazine. They're um, and you can. Well, I think that's probably about the ads, and then we have an ad in the program book in the at the national reunions, and so it's we try to make that as that information is readily available. We also have a newsletter that for the organization, the committee has a newsletter, an annual newsletter that goes out, and it has the contact information as well. In that newsletter, we tell the stories, some of the most compelling stories of some of these soldiers and their families who have been whose graves have been marked. Um, so that becoming a member of the Friends and Descendants organization is a good way to learn some interesting stories about some of these soldiers, and to give you a way to contact us as well. The division website is actually probably most of our orders now are coming in through the division website. I guess I'd say that um, I'm I'm not. I think that's about it. I'm not sure what else I to tell you
Okay.
about the other ways to order.
Uh, yeah. Now, in the Confederate veteran, you guys are have a medal with on your ad. Can you
Yes,
touch?
we do have actually 2 medals. One for the Friends. If you, I mean, if you're just interested in the cemetery at large and maybe don't have an ancestor, at least not one that you know of, then you can be a friend of the cemetery. That's one of those medals. And then if you're a descendant, then there's a similar but slightly different descendants medal that you can order or get. I guess I think we're still taking orders for those. We should maybe talk with Rick about or the committee about maybe just sponsoring a headstone might ought to make you eligible to get the medal, especially
Okay.
if you're a descendant. I guess it wouldn't work quite as well for the camps and divisions, perhaps, but at least for a descendant, yeah, I think they can probably get one.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on with my camp. Our original camp commander was Travis Golf.
Yes,
We're working on getting him tied in with the one that we're sponsoring, James Golf.
yes,
Uh, we know it's in his tree. We just don't know where it's located because
I got you. Okay,
to be able to get him that the descendant one you're talking about.
Right. Well, we'll be glad to maybe we can work that out offline. But yes, I'm familiar with the James Goff um, the proof, and it is I think it's on. Well, I think it's in the batch that's about to be ordered and later this week. So uh,
Oh, I gotta check my email then.
yeah, um, yeah. Rick is on a little bit of a vacation this week for just a few days. He'll be back on Friday, and
Okay.
he's checking his emails, every day. But he's up in the mountains somewhere where his reception is spotty, so he may or may not catch him there. But he'll be
Okay.
back on Friday, and
I'll
we'll.
give him a few. Yeah, because I would love to see the proof of his headstone to present that to my camp, just like
Okay.
you did with that one that you just showed. So yeah, that's cool. Exactly, Kelly.
I could send that to you.
Every camp, no matter how small, can buy a stone per year. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we that's what we push. It's a $450 is really it's not so large an amount that most camps they can probably manage that with a little fundraiser and pretty quickly get what you need to order one of those. So it's we recommend those as camp projects and then certainly divisions. You can do it in multiples that way. But yeah, I
Cool.
thank you. That's
Yeah. Off the top of your head, do you know how many headstones the camps in Florida put in for? I know.
well, we've got 19 on this order that's about to go in, and don't I don't know that the order that just arrived. I'm not sure how many might be in there. It's perhaps a comparable number to the 19. So maybe it I don't know, maybe it's 15 or so. Rick would have certainly a better handle on that than I would. I don't. I
Right.
thought I thought
Yeah.
I had I thought I had the list from the list of proofs for that past order, but I'm not. I think that's actually from the order before that, the one we just are finishing up. So I'm not, but I think it's probably comparable to it's some number in the teens for Florida. And thank you all, by the way, for stepping up that because we're that's we're we're it won't take you long to get to the 380 at the rate y'all are going. So and then of course you've got in fact 2 weeks ago I had a fellow from Florida, a descendant, show up at Oakwood
Ooh.
and he was interested in finding where his ancestor is located because he wanted to put in a grave. So that one if we can he may be uh, I don't know if he's going to make it into this current order or not. I don't. Rick would have to tell me that. I don't know if he's got the if he's received a check from him yet or not. But he was very interested in he was adamant, in fact, that he was going to get that grave marked. So you got quite a few.
Thanks, Kelly. Kelly has Sean. We have the Florida list. Adjutant Roberts added where these men enlisted by the division. We hope to have where these men lived at the time that the war began. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that, Kelly. I like that idea to know where they lived.
Yeah, we can we have ways to sort our database as well to find out either the company name or the colloquial name for the company, but definitely the unit. We can sort and search by unit as well. So if that we can work with anybody on that for trying to, if we're still trying to track down somebody from that unit, then we can help with that.
Guys, we're getting close to wrapping everything up. Uh, Edwin's here to answer your questions. I know a few of you were asking me questions, so this is your time to shine. I know there's some guys in the Arcadia camp that had questions, and various other camps throughout our division. Uh, Edwin's here. He took time out today to be here with us to give us an update and a little bit of a history of Oakwood. So feel free to ask questions. I know some of
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are been very good about it. So
And I'll be glad to give you my telephone number and email address too, if you want to contact me, separately or offline or something. I'll be glad to answer phone calls. 804 517 6587 is my cell phone number. And my email address is jray250443 at AOL.com.
cool. Thank you. Our president of the Florida OCR chapter, Nat Lindsay, said, "Great job and thank you for all your hard work."
Thank you. It's a labor of love for us. We 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 love what we're doing, and it's important work, and we learn a lot. Not every day, but we learn a lot about Oakwood and the soldiers and their families through this process.
The AOT councilman Roy Hudson said, "Thank you for our Virginia brothers for all their hard work."
Well, thank you. We in Virginia do, and on the committee, we do view this work as a project that we're doing on behalf of the whole Confederation. I mean, you do have every state in the Confederation, or in the former Confederacy, I should say, represented at Oakwood. So we take it seriously that this is these soldiers came from all over the Confederate nation and ended up dying here for illness or disease or wounds in battle, and they deserve a properly marked grave, and it's so we're honored to do this work on behalf of the Confederation.
Edwin, are you able to read that comment, or do you want me
I
to
do.
read it for you? Okay.
I do see it. Yeah. Yeah. So if you can, just let me know who the name and or unit, and we'll get busy getting them a headstone.
Cool. Alrighty, guys, girls. It's that time of night again. Edwin, I know this is your first time doing anything like this, right?
It is.
And I want to say thank you for taking time out today to come uh, to come and chat with us.
Thank you. We've been wanting to do something like this for quite a while, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yep. Compatriot has been looking for his. Oh, here's a huge compliment for you guys.
Okay. Great. The,
Yeah, because at our past Florida Division reunion, our Graves Committee did talk about Oakwood, and they had a list,
yeah.
and they made copies of that list and passed it all out to all of us. So,
Right.
yep.
Yeah, there are numerous lists in existence. By my count, we're at about 10, maybe even as many as 12 different lists. But everything really stems from there are two original lists, handwritten lists. John
Ooh.
Redford was the caretaker of the cemetery before, during, and after the war. He kept a burial register of soldiers buried during the war. During and after the war, there was a Oakwood Ladies Memorial Association. I may have some of the words out of order, but it's anyway a ladies memorial association. They maintained a list that's dated from 1866. They took their information. I'm sure they consulted the Redford list, but they also took information from the headstone, the wooden grave markers that were in place at the time during and after the war, and then there some of those original ones were it rotted and went away, and then they were replaced with another set of wooden headstones, head markers, grave markers. But so the ladies list is based on both Redford list and those what had been transcribed from the wooden grave markers.
Now, I see where Kelly Crocker was saying about Rick Muha's list. Is that based
Yeah.
off the original list?
Yes. Yes. What we will sometimes do, well, it's certainly if asked, we send out a subset of the total list. So if a division wants a list of the soldiers from their division from their state, we can send those out. We and we but we keep the total list here. But we're happy to answer any question anytime if you don't have access to a list.
Okay, cool. Well, a lot of information just came out. So, Edwin, I'm going to say thank you for tonight. I do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come and talk to us. And hopefully, your call out with the Texas division and the current Confederate veteran works out for you.
Thank you. Can I mention one other thing?
Yeah.
We our Flag Day, Confederate Flag Day service in the first Saturday of March every year is where we in addition to honoring the Confederate flags, we also will dedicate the headstones that have been installed since the previous Flag Day. Last year we dedicated 90 headstones. This year we expect to do over 100. We're not sure exactly how many it's going to end up being, but anyway, so anyone is, of course, we especially family members, and but camp and divisions as well, where everyone is always welcome to come to our Flag Day service for the dedication of these headstones.
Cool. Ready. All right, guys, we're wrapping everything up. Edwin, please let your committee know on a personal level from me. Thank you for tonight.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's our whole committee uh, is everybody does yeoman work, and we're glad to be. But again, it's a labor of love for us, and we don't we want to see these soldiers deserve properly marked graves.
Yes, sir. All right. Edwin, everybody pretty much in the chat is saying thank you for coming on for tonight.
Be glad to do it anytime. If we have any more, other questions, and of course, don't hesitate to forward them to me. Or information anytime. We're glad to help.
Yep, I got your email address now.
You do.
All right, guys, girls, thank you for joining us tonight. I know I goofed up last show. I do have Jimmy Shirley's memorial video uploaded, ready to go. That will be right when I hit end stream. So keep the Shirley family in your thoughts and prayers. He was a great guy. I nicknamed him the unofficiated Florida Division photographer because he was at every reunion reenactment with his camera taking pictures. And he's always told me on a personal note if I'm going to use any of his pictures to make sure I give him credit. So some of these pictures in this video I did are some of mine, some of yours, and some of his. So until next Wednesday, may God bless you on your adventures. Till next Wednesday, have a good night. Stay Southern, my friends.
Good night.